Welcome to Nurturing Knowledge in the Primary Grades. We are Jen Griffing and Leeann Weigman from State Support Team 9, and we're happy to be with you today to talk about the role of background knowledge and vocabulary in language and literacy development and some practical ways that you can embed intentional practices to help your students grow both in the classroom and at home. Neuroscience now is confirming what educational and psychological research has revealed in the past 20 to 30 years about how individuals learn to read. Scientists can now explain how the brain works when an individual is reading and what the brain needs to transform itself from a non-reading brain to a reading brain. And this information is from Ohio's Plan to Raise Literacy Achievement, which is linked on your slide. And this information really comes from studying functional MRIs of the human brain, and it confirms the research that supports explicit, systematic instruction in components of the National Reading Panel. Evidence converting from several fields, including psychology, education, linguistics, and neuroscience, overwhelmingly aligns. Ohio plans to continue learning from this body of research to help develop and update the resources and supports available to Ohio educators to improve the literacy of its children. This is the foundation of Ohio's theory of action found in Ohio's Plan to Raise Literacy Achievement. Based on our knowledge and understanding of how children learn to read, as a state, we have committed to intentionally supporting the following areas. From birth through grade 12, shared leadership, multi-tiered system of supports, educator capacity, family partnerships, and community collaboration.
Another foundational model in Ohio's plan that is important to be familiar with is the simple view of reading, a multiplication model which represents that children need proficient word recognition skills and language comprehension skills to achieve reading comprehension. If either of the factors is anything less than 1 or even 0, we cannot have a whole number outcome. In this case, we would have a child who doesn't have strong enough skills to produce the whole outcome of becoming a proficient reader. In the emergent literacy stage of development, the word recognition factor includes phonological processing and print awareness, and the language comprehension side is built upon oral language exposures and experiences. Similarly, as a child's development moves into the early literacy stage, we see the word recognition factor includes skills such as phonological awareness and memory, alphabet knowledge, including sounds and names of letters, rapid automatic naming, writing letters or name, and concepts of print and print knowledge. As you can see, the language comprehension side continues to include the significance of oral language development, which will be an emphasis throughout our conversation today. First, we have a video that will help us consider how essential knowledge is to the reading process. So based on our understanding of how critical knowledge is, let's consider what that looks like in our everyday experiences. If you nurture something, such as a young child, or in another context, a young plant, you care for it while it is growing and developing. Knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired about the world through experience or education. Together, we're going to walk through some effective ways to leverage what we know about how children learn best to support language and literacy development through nurturing knowledge in our classrooms and to partner with other caring adults in our students' lives to support them in doing the same. These practices are shared reading, utilizing text sets, and engaging families. We will also share some resources that will further equip you as you consider how to embed these elements in your daily interactions. Aside from being enjoyable, research suggests that shared book reading helps children develop many of the skills that are essential for reading success. In fact, the amount of time spent reading aloud is related to children's later reading achievement. Hearing new words in the context of stories read to them affords children the opportunity to learn not only new vocabulary words, but also new information. Book reading is an ideal activity for supporting children's content-rich vocabulary and building a strong base of knowledge critical for supporting learning in later grades. Susan Newman tells us, shared book reading provides an extraordinary opportunity to teach words in meaningful contexts. They can enable children to understand subtle differences in the meaning of words in these new contexts, building not only breadth, but also depth of word knowledge. Shared book reading provides the opportunity to explicitly teach children new words to support their long-term reading. As you can see here, Susan Newman gives us another quote: "To read with reasonable comprehension, a student needs to understand 95% of the words in a 100-word passage." The key in teaching children is selecting the words to teach. Vocabulary words are often organized into 3 tiers. Tier 1 words are those heard in everyday conversations, while Tier 2 words are those that appear frequently in many contexts or topics and play an important role in building children's knowledge and understanding. Tier 3 words are very domain specific and are used only in very specific contexts or topics. Selecting the tier words to explicitly teach during shared book reading is a powerful tool for building children's vocabularies. Text sets provide an extraordinary opportunity to teach words and build networks on knowledge in meaningful contexts. So it turns out that the type of text teachers read aloud is also important for what vocabulary and content knowledge children learn. In addition to the content of a book, teachers need to also consider its genre or type and what it can do to support learning. Common text genres include alphabet, rhyming, and storybooks. Pairing informational texts with these genres in a set have the power to help children develop content-rich vocabulary and background knowledge.
Families and caregivers are our students' first and most important teachers. They have opportunities to create the most powerful, intentional connections for children and to provide exposures and experiences that are personalized based on their children's interests and family values and are valuable to their social, emotional, and cognitive development in the context of relationship. They also have access to their child's brain when it is developing the fastest. Remember that our brain loves patterns. We know that routine and structures are important for developing brains, but we as teachers, as well as our families, appreciate knowing what to expect too. It frees up cognitive energy to focus on other ideas. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's especially true for vocabulary development. You can use pictures to provide good close-ups of the terms you are trying to convey. You might remind children of words that have been taught by saying, "I'm thinking of a part of the body that helps us breathe." And then you would allow the children to respond and even make up their own clues. And thinking about synonyms and antonyms, let's see how many words we can think of that mean the same thing as delicious in 2 minutes. For example, You might choose to do the same activity, but do antonyms on a different day, which can be a little bit more difficult. But children do get better and better with more practice over time, and they enjoy extending their vocabulary. And we love these practices because they're easily integrated into your day, and they're great for all adults that are supporting children. This is a great impact point to discuss in your TBT as you talk about how to share these practices that you're working on in your 5-step process with families, and your BLT as you consider how to engage all educators and staff. Your gym, art, and music teachers, our friends that serve meals or drive buses, we all have opportunities to build our students' oral language and background knowledge. After all, teaching content is teaching reading. Here are several resources for you that are aligned to Ohio's plan to raise literacy achievement, and they support both sides of the simple view of reading, while also supporting best practices for engaging families around learning at home. Each resource is linked in the blue rectangles at the bottom of your screen. First are videos for families with children in kindergarten, first, second, and third grades that support the development of evidence-based strategies at home. Similarly, the Florida Center for Reading Research has also developed videos that demonstrate literacy activities for families. And next, you'll see a resource from Reading Rockets, which equips families through videos and articles and much more. We also wanted to share an Ohio collaboration, Reading Tips for Families, which is a website that hosts reading definitions, activities, and resources to engage and educate families while also meeting the requirements for disability accessibility for non-English speakers. And finally, Day by Day Ohio family literacy calendars provide monthly, daily, and seasonally chosen shared reading, crafts, and conversation starters, as well as some experience suggestions for families to enjoy together. We hope that you find these resources valuable as you partner with families to support their children's language and literacy development, and that you have the opportunity to take a few minutes to explore those resources and to begin proactively planning for your school year. Thank you so much for spending time with us today and for the significant investment that you make in our communities every day. Our emails are linked above, so please feel free to contact us with any questions or need for additional support.